Some roads don't need warning signs. They don't need barricades. They don't need police tape. They just wait. Up in the hills of Ojai, there's a stretch of road where the air smells faintly like smoke, even when nothing is burning, where shadows don't move with the trees, and there's something blackened, something blistered. Is said to stand just beyond your headlights. They call him the Char Man. And no, he's not asking for directions. So if you're driving tonight, windows down, music low, feeling brave, I'd suggest one thing. Don't stop. Because some legends chase you. This one waits for you to slow down. Welcome back to Enigmatic Echoez. I'm Jazz, and tonight, we're taking the scenic route through the ashes. Let's begin. Ojai sits beneath the Topa Topa Mountains. The region has a long history of devastating wildfires. Southern California is no stranger to fire seasons. Dry brush, Santa Ana winds, narrow canyons that act like chimneys. In 1948, a wildfire burned through portions of the area. In 1964, the Day Fire. In 1985, the Wheeler Fire. In 2017, the massive Thomas Fire, one of the largest wildfires in California history at the time. Fire is not unusual here, which is why the legend feels possible. The most common version of the legend says this: a family once lived near Creek Road, near what is now Camp Comfort Park. One night, a wildfire tore through the canyon. The father, trapped inside the home, was burned alive. His wife and child either escaped or perished as well, depending on the telling. But the father did not die peacefully. He survived, horribly burned, his skin charred black, his body disfigured. Driven mad from pain and trauma, he retreated into the woods. And now he wanders, looking for something or someone. Urban legends often grow in places that feel isolated. Creek Road at night has minimal lighting, sharp curves, dense trees, and limited cell service. Teenagers from Ojai and nearby Ventura have driven that road for decades as a rite of passage. The instructions are usually something like, drive to the Creek Road after midnight, turn off your headlights, flash them 3 times, honk twice, and wait. Unlike many purely fictional legends, there are actual documented local accounts. Not verified police reports, but consistent community stories from the 1960s through the early 2000s. The first encounter is called the roadside figure from 1970s. 2 high school students reportedly claimed they saw a blackened man standing just beyond their headlights. They described him as about 6 feet tall, slumped posture, skin appearing cracked, no visible facial features. When they blinked, he was closer. They sped off. When they reached town, they swore the smell of smoke was inside the car. No fire had occurred that night. The second encounter is called a tapping from 1980s. A group of teenagers parked near Camp Comfort. They turned off the engine. Within minutes, a tap. One knock on the rear window. No one there. Then, a scrape, like something dragging along the trunk. One of them screamed and started the engine. As they pulled forward, one of the passengers claimed they saw a burned handprint on the back glass. When they stopped at the gas station to check, there was nothing. The last encounter was the hitchhiker. In several variations, drivers report seeing a figure walking along Creek Road. When they slow down, he steps into the headlights. His clothes appear melted to his body. His skin looks cracked, like charcoal. Some claim he reaches out, others say he vanishes. No confirmed missing persons match this description. No known burn victim matching the story was documented living feral in the woods, which raises the question, if this isn't history, why do so many people describe the same thing? Now, urban legends often reflect regional trauma. Ojai has endured repeated wildfire destruction. Residents have seen homes burned, people displaced, entire hillsides blackened. The image of a charred man is not random. It's collective memory given shape. In psychology, this can be referred to as a place-based folklore manifestation. The land remembers, so do the people. In darker retellings, the Char Man didn't just survive the fire, he set it. Some say he burned his own home intentionally. Others say he was a drifter who lived in the hills and was caught in an illegal burn gone wrong. And then there are the stories where he doesn't wander aimlessly, he lures. A few versions claim that drivers who stop and interact with him later experience nightmares of fire, the smell of smoke with no source, electrical malfunctions in vehicles. There are no confirmed deaths attributed to him, but fear doesn't require proof. Now, a modern account from the early 2000s, a local Ventura resident posted online about driving Creek Road alone. She described seeing what she thought was a burned tree stump in the road. She slowed down. The shape shifted, it stood upright. She said, "I've never felt dread like that. It wasn't running at me. It wasn't screaming. It just existed there. And that was worse." She reversed, drove back toward the highway. When she checked her rearview mirror, she claimed she saw glowing embers where the figure had stood. Now, is there any truth to this? Well, there are no verified death certificates tied to a specific Char Man. No confirmed records of a burn victim living feral near Camp Comfort. No documented murders. However, wildfire fatalities have occurred in Ventura County over the decades. Transient populations have lived in the canyons area, and the isolation of the road makes misidentification easy. Burned tree trunks can resemble silhouettes, headlights distort shapes, the human brain fills in gaps, especially when expecting something frightening. Now, why does this legend persist? Well, because it's simple. It's visual. It's primal. Fire is one of humanity's oldest fears, and a burn to human form represents survival twisted in horror. Unlike ghosts in white dresses, the Char Man feels physical, close, possible. Now, some stories claim if you stop and roll down your window, he whispers. No one agrees on what he says, but one repeated phrase appears in online retellings. Do you smell it? Imagine that. You're alone, engine idling, the trees silent, and something blackened stands beside your car, asking if you smell the smoke. Now, the Camp Comfort connection is real. Camp Comfort County Park is a real place. It's peaceful during the day, families picnic there, children play, but at night, the road leading there becomes something else. Isolation changes perception. Darkness exaggerates distance. Sound travels differently in canyon terrain. That tapping on the car could be a falling acorn, or could be something leaning against the glass. Some folklorists believe the Char Man is a cautionary legend, a way to discourage teens from driving recklessly on dangerous canyon roads. Instead of saying, drive carefully, the story says, if you go there at night, you might not come back alone. Fear is a better deterrent than rules. Now, what if? What if one day someone actually encounters a severely burned transient person in those hills? Would we recognize suffering? Or would we label it a monster? Urban legend sometimes dehumanizes tragedy. The idea of a man burned beyond recognition, wandering alone, that's not just horror, that's grief. So if you ever find yourself driving through Creek Road and your headlights stretch just a little too far into the trees and the air smells like something that burned long ago, don't roll your windows down. Don't call out. And definitely don't ask if he needs help. Because if you smell smoke and there's no fire, you might already be closer than you think. Thank you for listening to Enigmatic Echoes. If tonight's episode sparked something in you, a chill, a question, or the sudden urge to check your rearview mirror, go ahead and follow the podcast. Leave a review. Share it with someone who thinks they're not scared of anything. We also have visuals awaiting for you over on YouTube and Instagram, because sometimes seeing it makes it worse. Until next time, stay curious, stay haunted, and maybe take the highway home.